like it.
You feel like it? No, I do too most days. But come on in. We welcome all. We're just not singing in a language other than English, some Hebrew, maybe a little Yiddish. But here we are.
I'm Eleanor Warrington, and I've been here before. I recognize a lot of you.
And that's why Jessica had the screen put down, right?
Because I always use a screen, but
I
not
know
tonight.
that.
This is a different kind of program.
But, and yes, I overheard. I'm also Rabbi Andy. I wear two different yarmulkes. But I'm a two-sided coin. I'm a musician since I'm this many, and I've been a rabbi really since I'm this many, because I first led services in 3rd grade with my religious school class. But so we wanted to do some holiday harmonies for you. That's what we named this show, but it's not on the description out there. I don't know if Jessica used that anywhere else. But holiday harmonies and a little bit of everything. Ready? Gonna sing?
Yep. Yes.
Gonna get up and dance the horror when we sing about Hanukkah? You light the menorah, and the only thing that rhymes in the whole English language, apparently, with the word menorah is hora, like the dance, you know. And so it uses that you're supposed to dance a hora on Hanukkah, and most people have never danced a hora on Hanukkah. Did you hear that? Most people have never danced a hora on Hanukkah, so that's just a silly song. Kind of like Frosty the Snowman or something. You know? Okay, so you have anything else that you would like to say while I situate my derriere?
Well, we'd like you to sit back and enjoy, and feel free to sing along, because I have an idea that you might know a lot of the words to these songs, even though we didn't bring words, but I think you know a lot of them.
We'll hum along.
Hum along.
It's a hum along. Oh, I like that. Instead of a sing along. How smart. Okay. So let's see. I hope everything's in here. You just have to announce the songs, because I know I'm missing some on the listing.
Well, if you remember from the musical Maine, the song "We Need a Little Christmas." Who remembers who sang that? Does Lynn remember?
You're going to tell us?
No, I can't remember either.
Oh, you can't remember either.
She had this program about this mystery program later on when she became older.
What? Who had a mystery program?
The star in Maine.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, it's all
The
right.
Star of Maine, right? Who also then went on to a long-running television mystery program.
Angela Lansbury, that's it.
And that's the Broadway recording I have of it, actually. I have Angela.
We should give you a prize. You got the right answer.
See, like I don't have all the keys.
Andy's got candy he could give somebody for a prize.
Oh. Oh, no, that was going to be a bit. Can you see what color they are?
No.
Silver balls. Silver balls.
Come on. He's a comedian too. I don't know.
You either didn't think that was at all
That's
funny,
his third hat.
or you didn't hear me.
We heard you.
You heard me. What key? Let's say G.
Hold out the holly, put up the tree before my spirit falls again. Fill up the stocking, I may be rushing things, but deck the halls again now. For we need a little Christmas right this very minute. Candles in the window, carols at the spinach. Yes, we need a little Christmas right this very minute. It hasn't snowed a single flurry, but Santa dear, we're in a hurry. So climb down the chimney, turn on the brightest string of lights I've ever seen. Slice up the fruitcake. It's time we hung some tinsel on that evergreen bough. For we need a little music, need a little laughter, need a little singing, ringing in the rafter, and we need a little snappy, happy ever after. We need a little Christmas now.
Just like Angela, huh?
Beautiful.
There you go.
Thank you.
Let it.
Yeah. Well, you know, we actually have had some snow, and we've had a lot of it, but right now we're getting a nice day. And we're going to sing that song made famous by Frank Sinatra, Let It Snow.
Forgot my little intro.
The weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
It doesn't show signs of stopping, and I brought some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally say good night, I'll hate go out in the storm. But if you'll really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm.
The fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Okay, here you go. Ready to do the thing?
Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
We do it together. Remember?
Oh, the weather outside
I'm
is
dreaming of a white Christmas.
Let it
Like the one I used to
snow, let it
know.
snow, let it snow.
When the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow.
It doesn't show signs of
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. It's every Christmas card I write.
Let it snow, let it snow. May your days be merry and bright. And may all your Christmases be white.
Let it snow, let it snow,
Let it snow.
Want to say anything?
Well, just when you go outside, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, but also like Hanukkah.
Oh, it's Hanukkah. That's right. So, did you see my bling?
No. Oh, you're in the menorah.
Right. Anybody have a dress to match that? Maybe a cummerbund set? I don't know.
The rest of my
There you go.
my jacket.
Matches your jacket. Here, you wear it. It's heavy.
Oh, you want me to wear it?
No, it's okay. I just want to take it off. But thank you for the geld from the folks that I see on Fridays. That's wonderful. But also, it's beginning to look a lot like all kinds of holidays. So I didn't know what to wear tonight for our show because we're doing a little bit of everything. So I do have this Hanukkah tie. I don't know where to hold it so you can see it, but it's got a little Hanukkah down there and some dancing. This is a celebrity. It's been on Good Morning America. Of course, I was wearing it. But 12 years ago, this month, when my ultimate kidney donor and I both were cleared for surgery, which took place in January, 12 years ago. So she was giving me her kidney, a Methodist minister. So I'm part Methodist, literally. And so, but we were invited to come on Good Morning America to retell our story. And so I wore this tie. But then Ellie just gave me a holiday present. All right, so you got to bring Santa Claus. All right. Then, of course, there's this Hanukkah tie with the numbers of each night on it. And then there's this Christmas tie that I got for $1 at Goodwill with Christmas trees on it. Figured it's green and it's got trees, and I like gardening, so that's... And then there's the one that involves everybody, and that's what I consider my brotherhood, sisterhood tie, so to speak.
And we're going to sing Let There Be Peace on Earth, so it'll fit in. So you haven't decided which one to go with?
No, but what we need to do, in honor of the fact that tonight is Hanukkah, is to light the fourth candle, right? Because tonight is the fourth evening into day of Hanukkah. So I'm going to put on my rabbi yarmulke, which I didn't bring one in, but you know, there's a joke about that too. The family is lighting the Shabbat candles, and one of the kids doesn't have a yarmulke to cover his head. So the father says to the other brother, put your hand over your brother's head while we say the blessing for lighting the candles. So the older brother says, what, am I my brother's keeper?
There's one up there.
And there's one up here. Thank you, Eleanor. Okay, thank you. I'm going to turn around here. So here we go. If you can't see it, imagine this is the fourth candle twisting brightly into the night with the beautiful background of the Christmas tree. How appropriate for tonight. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam kan asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav Betzivanu lahadlik ner shel Chanukah. Blessed are you, God, who created the whole universe, and upon whom we have been asked to light candles to commemorate sacred occasions like this, Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoteinu bayamim hahem Bazman hazeh. Thank you, God, for wroughting. What's the present tense of to wrought something? But for doing miraculous things in days gone by for our ancestors at this season. Bazman hazeh. So we light the candles and commemorate religious freedom. That's what Hanukkah is all about, which is why it's not a minor holiday. It's not in the Jewish Bible. It's not in the Christian Bible.
Well,
it's in that extra book called the Apocrypha, which wasn't put in either testament. And the story of Hanukkah was preserved there. And then the early rabbis around the year 200 codified its celebration. So not in the Bible, but certainly in Jewish tradition, all these years to commemorate the religious freedom gained back by the Jewish people at that time, by Judah Maccabee, by the Maccabees. So it's considered not as important because it's not biblical, but it's probably the most important message of all, of religious freedom and acceptance for all, and you know. So, happy Hanukkah. Shalom, salam, pax. Okay, Eleanor, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, whether you're singing or not. Okay, she's readjusting the focus on the camera.
We'll all sing.
And we'll all sing. Make sure you're in it.
I think so.
Huh? Should I look?
If I stand close. It's beginning to look over. I want to make it a different song. Sorry. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look in the 5 and 10, glistening once again with candy canes and silver lanes aglow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store, but the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your own front door. A pair of hop-along boots and a trumpet that toots is the wish of Barney and Ben. Dolls that will talk and go for a walk is the hope of Janice and Jen. And Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start.
Get out of the house!
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. There's a tree in the Grand Hotel, one in the park as well, the sturdy kind that doesn't mind the snow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Soon the bells will start, and the thing that will make them ring is the carol that you sing right within your
So originally I was going to write a parody of that song. It's beginning to look a lot like Hanukkah. And behold, I didn't quite finish those lyrics, but I did look it up. It's like, why reinvent the wheel? So would you believe that a parody of this song is listed as one of the top 20 Jewish parody songs? It intrigued me. So I listened to it. Why reinvent the lyrics? Maybe they were even posted and I would just have instant lyrics or a parody of this song. It was terrible. I was embarrassed for the young man who sang it. Very lush, wonderful orchestral background and swirling Jewish stars and everything. And it was absolutely terrible.
Oh, you could write a better one than that.
Exactly.
Next time.
But meanwhile, Ellie sent me a Hanukkah card. And it has on it the 8 nights of Hanukkah. So shall we share, please?
Sure.
On the first night of Hanukkah, someone sent to me a warm bagel topped with cream cheese. Okay, so you have to learn that, right? And a warm bagel topped with cream cheese. On the second night of Hanukkah, someone sent to me 2 matzo balls and a warm bagel topped with cream cheese. On the third night of Hanukkah, someone sent to me 3 golden latkes, 2 matzo balls, and a warm bagel topped with cream cheese. On the fourth night of Hanukkah, someone sent to me 4 pounds of corned beef, 3 golden latkes, 2 matzo balls, and a warm bagel topped with cream cheese. On the fifth night of Hanukkah, someone sent to me 5 kosher dills, 4 pounds of corned beef, 3 golden latkes, 2 matzo balls, and a warm bagel topped with cream cheese. On the 6th night of Hanukkah, someone sent to me 6 bubbies baking, 5 kosher dills, 4 pounds of corned beef, 3 golden latkes, 2 matzo balls, and a warm bagel topped with cream cheese. On the 7th night of Hanukkah, someone sent to me 7 rabbis dancing, because that's all rabbis have time to do, right? Oh, what do you do all day, Rabbi? You just lead a service and write a sermon. What else do you do all week? They go dancing. 7 rabbis dancing, 6 bubbies baking, 5 kosher dills, 4 pounds of corned beef, 3 golden latkes, 2 matzo balls, and a warm bagel topped with cream cheese. Thank God. On the 8th night of Hanukkah, someone sent to me 8 fiddlers fiddling, 7 rabbis dancing, 6 bubbies baking, 5 kosher dills. Oh, never mind not having too much salt. 4 pounds of corned beef, 3 golden flint latkes, 2 matzo balls, and a warm bagel topped with cream cheese. Oy vey, I'm getting indigestion. Here we go. So we've won, right? What's next?
I have Hanukkah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so we need some lyrics there so we can do the Yiddish. Okay, who knows this one in Yiddish? English first.
Hanukkah, oh Hanukkah.
That's too low for you.
Want to do English first?
Oh, that's too high. Oh, I don't have the. That's good.
Oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora.
Sure.
Gather around the table, we'll give you a
treat. Set home to play with and latkes to eat. And while we are
playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night they shed
us, we'd like to remind us of days long ago. One for each night they shed us, we'd like to remind us of days long ago. Okay, Hebrew or Yiddish?
Yiddish.
Yiddish, yeah. How many people know the Hebrew words? Anybody? How many know the Greek words? Me neither. Stick with English. Well, but Yiddish, some people will get. It's a nice nostalgic thing. Oi, Chanukah, Chanukah, a young Tifashane, a lustige, a freiliche, nito nach a seine, alle Nachten Dreidlach spielen wir, Zurich, Heselach, ist es du noch geschwinder, sind Kinder, der Chanukah liftelach on, sorgt an Nisim, love God, for the Nisim, will love her all the time, sitting cold. All this dancing. Harmonies, love God for the Nisi, will love her all the time, sitting cold. Second verse in English, huh? You have that? Oh, Hanukkah, a festival of joy. A
joyful, joyful holiday that comes in December. Every day for 8 days, dreidels will spin. Crispy little latkes, tasty and thin. And nightly, so brightly, the candles of Hanukkah glow. One for each night, they shed a sweet light to remind us of days on the go.
One for each night, they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago.
Yay.
Please.
Okay.
I'll stall.
I'm putting my mic a little higher.
I'll sing Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas without you. No, I wouldn't do that. I'll tell a story, right? First of all, an updated version of the Hanukkah oil miracle, right? Father is telling his children, holding a phone. The mother is looking on, and he says, children, you must understand, it's just like if you charge your cell phone enough to last for 1 day, and it lasted for 8. That's the miracle of Hanukkah, okay? The little victorious over the big. The little oil lasting in a big way. The little guerrilla army of Maccabees fighting against the Syrian, the Hellenistic Empire based in Syria, and winning. You know how they won? Are you ready?
I don't know, is this good?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know how the Maccabees won against the Syrians? In 2 ways. First of all, they used to be very gentlemanly, right? Women didn't fight in the army. So the men, they would fight until Friday night. And then they'd say, we have to go home for Shabbat. We have to go home for our Sabbath. We'll see you back here on the battlefield Sunday morning. We'll bring some bagels and some schmear, okay? And of course, what would happen the minute they turned their backs? They'd get stomped on by the Syrian Hellenist army. So one thing that the Maccabees realized is that since it's saving our very lives, we're allowed to fight on the Sabbath. And secondly, they stopped them in their tracks because in the northern part of Israel are a lot of mountains. The Judean hills, they're referred to as, and you can even go skiing in Israel. And so in order for King Antiochus, based up in Damascus, was going to bring the army down into Israel to battle. They had to go through all these mountainous areas. So what did the Maccabees do? They hid out in the mountains. They were under camouflage. They were up in trees. They were on mountainsides and ditches, whatever. And since the mountain passes were very narrow, the Syrian army couldn't get their tanks through. You heard me, right?
Yes.
You're wondering what the heck is he talking about, right?
Thanks.
Tanks, he said? Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yeah, they had very modern weaponry 2,000 years ago in 163 before the Common Era. Except they were shaped like elephants. So imagine the Syrians were trying to march their elephants, their big, stomping on them elephants, get out of our way, elephants through these little mountain passes. So they were able to stop them because all you have to do is fell one elephant and you cause a traffic jam for miles. It's like from here way down to the south side, as you're trying to get your army through the mountains. That's a big backup. So, lo and behold, the Maccabees were able to be victorious and they got control back of the temple. Okay, that's that story.
Great story.
And then when they got control, they only had enough oil, the rabbis taught, for one night, but it lasted miraculously for 8. Are you old enough? Is anybody here under 21? Anybody here?
Another life.
Yeah. So, you want to know the real story?
Yeah.
Okay, what Jewish holiday is 8 days long? Sukkot. And Pesach, but I'm glad you answered Sukkot. Because if they didn't have control of the temple, they couldn't celebrate Sukkot that fall. And Sukkot, the festival of booths, the harvest holiday, Jewish Thanksgiving, which of course is what gave the pilgrims, what's that? The pilgrims, the inspiration to have Thanksgiving, because they were good Bible thumpers, right? And so when they got control back of the temple, they got control back of 2 things. In addition, one was the basement of the temple, the treasury. They got back the treasury. The national treasury was in the basement of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem on the Temple Mount. So they got control back of that. That's why they started making all these goofy little coins, not out of chocolate, but out of gold. And they put their own pictures on them. They minted new coins with Judah and his brother John, his brother Jonathan, his brother whatever. And Papa Mattathias was probably on the 100. And they made new coins. And so I said there were 2 things. What else was I referring to? I don't know. But they got control of this, and they got control of the temple, and they were able to put things right. So that's that. So that's, oh, I'm sorry, the 8 days, that's what I was getting at. Senior moment number 7 today. I don't know, they come like rain sometimes. That they, I just forgot.
For 8 days.
8 days. So Sukkot was for 8 days, right? And they didn't have control of the temple in Sukkot. So when they got control back of the temple, what happened? They could celebrate Sukkot. They could celebrate biblical Thanksgiving. Is that my mom?
Hi.
Seriously? Say hi for us. We'll wait.
I'll call you back. Bye.
Bye, honey. Happy Hanukkah. Okay. Was that the call to worship? Okay. So they celebrated Hanukkah. They celebrated Sukkot in December. And that's what's preserved in the book of Maccabees. Because you know what they brought to the temple during the first Hanukkah? Palm branches. The symbol of Sukkot, right? The lulav. And this is all preserved in the Apocrypha, in the book of Maccabees. So that's how we know what happened. Okay, now you know the secret. Let's go on. What's next?
We're going to do Seven Vivons, Sof, Sof, Sof.
Oh, okay.
It goes fast. Yeah.
Seven vivons,
Sof, Sof, Sof. Hanukkah, hu chatov. Hanukkah, hu chatov. Seven Vivons, Sof, Sof, Sof. Hanukkah,
Hula, Nes Gadol Hayasham, Nes Gadol Hayasham, Chag Simcha
Layam.
Vivon, turn and turn, while the lovely candles burn. What a wondrous holiday! Watch us sing and watch us play. The smell of latkes fills the air. A great big miracle happened there. It's a holiday of light for 8 days and for 8 nights. Seven vivon, sof, sof, sof.
Hanukkah, hu chatov. Hanukkah, hu chatov. Seven Vivons, Sof, Sof, Sof.
Hey, spin little dreidel. So what does the dreidel have to do with the story? Anything?
Sure.
Sure, what? Oppression, what else? It's a Jewish holiday. Gotta have some oppression in there. When the Romans took over, and actually it was also true in the Hellenist times, King Antiochus, there were different periods of time when the study of the Bible was prohibited. You know, kind of like how Christians are treated in a lot of countries these days, or Jews in certain places. But when they would want to study the Bible, they'd create a little subterfuge and play a betting game with the dreidel. And they could talk about the Torah, but if the Roman officer came up and said, "Hey, Jews, what are you doing?" they'd say, "We're playing dreidel." You know, most of the soldiers wouldn't have known Hebrew. Maybe they learned some. Actually, wouldn't have even been Hebrew, it would have been Aramaic. Okay, now are we ready to sing about Christmas?
Oh, you're gonna
Or we
do
did that already?
Hanukkah in Santa Monica.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And he's got a solo.
Anybody here from California?
That's there.
I don't mean California Avenue. I mean, you know, Dorton, California, out west, huh? Okay, so now I just mentioned a whole bunch of Jewish holidays, so here's another song. Because I wish I could go somewhere warmer for Hanukkah. I must admit that. I think it would be fun. And you know what? I dream about it every year. I'm spending Hanukkah in Santa Monica, wearing sandals, lighting candles by the sea. I spent Shavuos in East St. Louis, a charming spot, but clearly not the spot for me. Those eastern winters, boy, I can't endure 'em. So every year I pack my gear and head out west for Purim. Rosh Hashanah I spent in Alabama, and Yom Kippur way down in Mississippi. But in December there's just one place for me. With the California flora, I'll be lighting my menorah. Like a baby in a cradle, I'll be spinning my little dreidel. Here's to Judah Maccabeus, if he could only see us spending Hanukkah in Santa Monica by the sea. Now full time I'm spending Hanukkah in Santa Monica, lighting candles, wearing sandals by the sea. I spent Shavuos in East St. Louis, a charming spot, but clearly not the spot for me. Those eastern winters, I can't endure 'em. So every year I pack my gear and head out west for Purim. Rosh Hashanah I spent in Alabama, I was so scared. And Yom Kippur way down in Mississippi, even worse. And in December there's just one place for me. With the California flora, I'll be lighting my menorah. You can dance the Watusi or the Begin or maybe the Hora. Ah, here's the Judah Maccabeus, if he could only see us spending Hanukkah in Santa Monica by the sea. By contrast,
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, no troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, all troubles will be miles away. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us will be near to us once more. Through the years we all will be together as the Lord allows. Hang a shining star across the high
problem.
What's next?
Well, you remember that song about the little drummer boy? Such a sweet song. It almost makes us cry sometimes.
Do I have the words? I have
It has
it.
words.
I said it wasn't in order.
Oh, okay.
I have it.
Okay. Come, they told me, our newborn king to see, our finest gifts we bring, to lay before the king, little baby, I am a poor boy too, I have no gift to bring, to spend to give our king, on my drum. Mary nodded, the ox and lamb kept time, I played my drum for him, I played my best for him, then he smiled at me, me and my drum. Have any of you ever roasted chestnuts?
I had them in New York City once. They had them on the sidewalks alongside the candied cashews and
Uh-huh.
peanuts, yeah.
I know, I've had them too when I was growing up, but I don't see them much around today. But anyway, someone wrote a song about that. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Come on, Mel Torme.
Frost nipping at your nose. Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe, apt to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh, and every mother's child is gonna spy know how to fly. So I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to you.
Beautiful.
No.
I'm just playing. You want to say something?
Oh, I was gonna say, it's getting awfully cold outside.
Oh, yes. 25 degrees lately? Ooh. It's even too cold to really snow.
The snow is snowing.
I'm in the wrong key. No wonder.
Oh, it's kind of low.
I can't hear you when you're singing.
Oh, you can't.
Can you hear her okay?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Should I
Okay.
turn it up a little more?
Well, just
No, hold it closer
Yeah.
to my mouth. The snow is snowing, the wind is blowing, but I can weather the storm. What do I care how much it may storm? I've got my love to keep me warm. I can't remember a worse December. Just watch those icicles fall. What do I care if icicles fall? I've got my love to keep me warm. Off with my overcoat, off with my glove. I need no overcoat, I'm burning with love. My heart's on fire, the flame grows higher, and I will weather the storm. What do I care how much it may storm? I've got my love to keep me warm. Off with my overcoat, off with my glove. I need no overcoat, I'm burning with love. My heart's on fire, the flame grows higher, and I will weather the storm. What do I care how much it may storm? I've got my love to keep me warm. I've got my love to keep me warm.
Bravo.
Well, New Year's is coming up.
oh boy, haven't even gotten through Hanukkah yet. Just talking about New Year.
Maybe it's much too early in the game. Oh, but I thought I'd ask you just the same. What are you doing New Year's? New Year's Eve. Wonder whose arms will hold you good and tight when it's exactly 12 o'clock that night. Welcoming in the new year, New Year's Eve. Maybe I'm crazy to suppose I'd ever be the one you chose out of the 1,000 invitations you'll receive. Oh, but in case I stand one little chance, here comes the jackpot question in advance. What are you doing New Year's? New Year's
That guy back there is smiling.
Maybe I'm crazy to suppose I'd ever be the one you chose. Out of the 1,000 invitations you'll receive, on a case I stand one little chance. Here comes a jackpot question in advance. What are you doing? New Year's Eve.
Bravo.
A flat, all over the bass, but not a G flat. Okay.
Now there's a really fun chorus that Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. You know a little bit more about that? Sung at a lot of.
Hey, let's make it more peaceful around here. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem, we bring you peace. And wonderful example of how this song is sung in contemporary times. It's a Torah tempo, you know, and in a minor key. So that's how you know it's a Jewish song, right? You can dance to it and it's in a minor key. It's a horror beat. But I was with, I guess it was a group of rabbis, and we were touring an Ethiopian Jewish absorption center in Israel, right? A whole part of the family, long forgotten Ethiopian Jews called Beta Yisrael. They were largely brought up to Israel from Operation Solomon years ago. In any case, so they're still coming, or at least they were, however long ago when it was that I was on this trip. So we were just done with our tour. This microphone is down. So we were just done with our tour of the absorption center when, lo and behold, some buses pulled up from Lod Airport in nearby Tel Aviv, and out were coming, first time off the bus, Jews from Ethiopia. And all the staff from the building came out to welcome them, and were singing this. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Welcome. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem.
Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem.
So, more so, this is also code. This is the code for the mantra of Judaism. Let's make peace. Seriously. You know, everybody thinks about what's happened in the Middle East since 1967. Like the one time the Israeli army, the Jewish army, which there hadn't been one for 2,000 years, all of a sudden they were victorious, right? The Arab nations promised to annihilate Israel, and the evening news. So the next morning, before they could even get to their cockpits, or their tanks, or their elephants, the Israeli Air Force bombed everybody and won the war in 7 days. A war for announced annihilation against them. But the reality is, Judaism wants peace. I mean, think of the guy who wrote the original story of Fiddler on the Roof. He used the pen name Shalom Aleichem. Peace be unto you. Salam Aleikum. Peace be with you, and the Christians say,
And salam.
peace be with you.
And
And also with you. Thank you. Even I knew that. Come on. You know it. You're allowed to say it. Again, I'm part Methodist. But, you know, peace. That's what it's all about. So, Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem.
Ebeinu Shalom Aleichem. Ebeinu Shalom
Aleichem. Ebeinu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem.
Yay.
No?
Should we stop exactly at 8, or can we go till 8:09?
Well, no,
809.
8 or 9?
no, I'm leaving.
You're leaving?
I have to go back.
You have to. At 8
Well, if
o'clock.
somebody has to go, it's okay.
Well, if you have to go, go. But,
Make it 805.
okay, 8:05? Does that work for us?
That makes
Talk about a
two more
compromise.
songs, I think.
Well, then whatever you want to
Look at the
do.
list.
Well, that's all we have left, is 3 more songs.
No, I think
4.
2,
4.
3, 4,
We're
5,
finishing our
6.
program.
I have
Here we
6.
go.
I have 6.
Really?
Yeah.
Not if you count according to that.
Come on.
Look at it, 7 after.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh.
Sing.
Skip ahead to number 15.
Okay, take 15 to the end. So you've done a candle, so. Okay.
So, how many of you remember Peter, Paul, and Mary? Which one did you date? Because Peter Yarrow could live here. They could all live here.
Here's Peter.
Here's Peter, another Peter, right? So Peter Yarrow, who now has rejoined in a big way the Jewish community toward the later part of his life. But once upon a time, they wrote and sang this song. Way back when. This has been around a long time. Light one candle for the Maccabee children. Give thanks that their light didn't die. Light one candle for the pain they endured while their right to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible sacrifice justice and freedom demand. Light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through their love and their tears. Light one candle for the strength that we need to never become our own foe. Light one candle for those who are suffering the pain we learned so long ago. Light one candle for all we believe in. Let anger not tear us apart. Light one candle to bind us together with peace as the song in our heart. Please join me, don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go. Let it shine through our love. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Last verse. What is the memory that's valued so highly that we keep it alive in those flames? What's the commitment to those who have died when we cry out they've not died in vain? We have come this far, always believing that justice will somehow prevail. This is the burden and this is the promise, and this is why we will not fail. Don't let the light go out, let it shine. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Big finish. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out. And the light goes out.
You could do like.
Great, perfect. 2 more songs, okay?
Oh, holy night, the stars is shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and sorrows pining, till He appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. All on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night divine. Truly He taught us to love one another. His law is love, and His gospel is peace. Chains shall He break, for the slave is our brother, and in His name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in the grateful chorus raise we, let all within us praise His holy name. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night, and now, to put it all together, we'd like to sing that song of peace. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be sung, with God as our Father,
wonderful, blessed Hanukkah week and a wonderful Merry Christmas as that comes up. And does anybody celebrate other holidays at this time of year? There are many holidays. What else? Anybody here?
Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa. Well, I'm asking if anybody here does celebrate it. Do you celebrate it? Do you celebrate it? Anybody?
That's it.
Kwanzaa? Okay.
Okay, we got it covered, I guess.
And Happy New Year.
Thank you very much.
See you Friday. What?
What would we vow?
Oh, we're gonna bow. Oh
Formal bow.
Take a
my.
bow.
How formal. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Wonderful, wonderful.
What?
Come back soon.